And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. Revelation 17:4. On Sunday, December 18th, 2022, Lionel Messi led his national team, Argentina, to victory in the World Cup final soccer match against France in Lusail Stadium in Lusail, Qatar. You may not be aware, but the entire world has just been beguiled into drinking from Mystery Babylon's cup of abominations and fornication by taking part in the celebration and ancient worship of the antediluvian gods from the other side of the flood. Don't believe it? I can prove it. Watch this. Reports spread about security guards preventing people from entering the World Cup stadium for wearing rainbow shirts in support of the LGBTQ community. In Qatar, same-sex sexual activity is prohibited under the Penal Code 2004, which criminalizes acts of sodomy and sexual intercourse between people of the same sex. The reason this has been highlighted is because the symbol of the rainbow, which has been co-opted and corrupted by the LGBTQ movement.
For me personally, it is important for me to go ahead and affirm that I think same-sex couples should be able to get married.
President Biden signed the Respect for Marriage Act.
The law provides for protection for same-sex and interracial marriages.
In reality, is connected to the antediluvian world before the flood and the destruction of that world because of the sexual immorality of the fallen angels that is equated with homosexuality as described in Jude chapter 1 verses 6 and 7, which declare, "And the angels, which kept not their first estate, but left their own habitation, he hath reserved in everlasting chains unto darkness, unto the judgment of the great day. Even as Sodom and Gomorrah, and the cities about them, in like manner, giving themselves over to fornication, and going after strange flesh, are set forth for an example, suffering the vengeance of eternal fire." Further, we are also told the true meaning of God's rainbow in Genesis 9, verse 11 through 13, which declares, "And I will establish my covenant with you, neither shall all flesh be cut off any more by the waters of a flood, neither shall there any more be a flood to destroy the earth. And God said, This is the token of the covenant which I make between me and you and every living creature that is with you for perpetual generations. I do set my bow in the cloud, and it shall be for a token of a covenant between me and the earth." That being said, it is time for true believers to wrest this symbol of the covenant between man and God from the clutches of the very people who continue to violate Yah's law. If you want to support this movement, visit the merchandise page on the website. While this was going on in Qatar, back in Buenos Aires, the capital of Argentina, soccer fans gathered around the city's obelisk to celebrate their team's victory. Argentina's flag is the sun, which is a reference to the sun god and the worship of the sun. This is why Argentina won the World Cup on Sun Day, December 18th, 2022. The date 12/18/2022 gives us the number of the beast, 666, twice, since 12 equals 6 plus 6, and 18 is 6 plus 6 plus 6, and 2 plus 2 plus 2 is also 6. The obelisk that the sea of people gathered around is an Egyptian obelisk which serves as a giant sundial. In fact, this same obelisk can be found in the center of the Vatican at St. Peter's Basilica. The connection to the Vatican doesn't stop there, however. Pope Francis, who I contend is the false prophet, is actually from Argentina, and he was born on December 17th, the day before Argentina won the World Cup. It is important to note that on September 23rd, 2015, the Pope visited then President Obama, the Antichrist, in the District of Columbia, who is Lucifer, the light bearer, and they stood beneath the Egyptian obelisk that is the Washington Monument on the Jewish holy day of Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement. On this day, the priest selected the goat Azazel to carry the sins of the people into the wilderness. He was then cast down from a high mountain as a representation of Lucifer being cast from heaven. Clearly, Barack Obama, whose name actually means lightning from heaven, was meant to represent the goat Azazel, or Lucifer, being cast from heaven. Not only that, but during the Pope's inauguration on March 13th, 2013, he used his mitre hat and he was presented the fisherman's ring after descending to the tomb of St. Peter, where he prayed to a dead man's bones. The date 3/13/2013 was meant to be an intensification of the number 13, since it was the 13th day and 13th year, but also because when you add the month, day, and year together, 3 plus 1 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1 plus 3, you also get 13. And we know that the number 13 is the number of rebellion. The mitre hat that was worn by Pope Francis is the fish hat that is also worn by the priest of Dagon, who is the dragon and represents the beast from the sea. In 1 Samuel chapter 5, verse 1 through 5, the Philistines took the Ark of the Covenant into the house of Dagon and set it by their false idol. In the morning, Dagon had fallen on its face before the ark, and the hands and head of Dagon had been cut off. In doing this, Yah made it known that neither false god nor the worship of them will ever be able to stand in his presence. Argentina is connected to the Vatican in another way as well. The name of its capital city, where the obelisk is erected, Buenos Aires, comes from the title of the Virgin Mary. The phrase Buenos Aires actually means good air. This is meant to point to the prince of the power of the air, who is the devil and Satan. We have also seen this reference to the air in the past in the name of the Chicago Bull, Air Jordan, as well as the Prince of Bel Air. The connection of the Madonna and Child to the Egyptian obelisk, both in Rome at the Vatican and in Buenos Aires, Argentina, is not by coincidence. That this image, which is worshipped by Catholics, is actually a representation of the Egyptian goddess Isis, the moon goddess, and her son Horus, the sun god. In fact, the obelisk inside of the circle divided into 8 sections in St. Peter's Basilica, is symbolic of the sex act between the rebellious fallen angels and human women, which gave rise to the Nephilim giants, as found in Genesis 6:4, which declares, "There were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men, and they bare children to them. The same became mighty men which were of old, men of renown." In Egyptian mythology, the obelisk is Osiris's penis, which was conjured up by Isis through the use of magic after Osiris was killed by his brother Seth and chopped into several pieces. Isis then used the magic phallus to impregnate herself with Horus, the sun god. During the celebration in Argentina, a so-called mystery naked woman danced at the base of the obelisk as a representation of Isis impregnating herself with the magic phallus of Osiris. This woman was meant to represent Mystery Babylon, the mother of harlots, who is celebrating winning the World Cup, which contains the abominations and the filthiness of her fornication from all over the earth. Moreover, the Pope, who is the head of the Catholic Church, which is arrayed in scarlet and purple, symbolically represents the coming world religion of lawlessness and mystery, Babylon. This is why the head of the Catholic Church, Pope Francis, was born on the 17th of December, as it points to Mystery Babylon, the woman who rides the beast, as found in Revelation 17. This fact was confirmed by an article that was published on December 17th concerning Margot Robbie's orgy scene in the film Babylon.
I'm just one for everyone to party forever.
Remember, Argentinians partied around the Egyptian obelisk, which is the penis of Osiris, also known as Baal's shaft. It should be noted, in the movie Babylon, the penis is highlighted as well.
This is my dressing room. I don't even know what that is.
We also saw this reference to the penis previously in the animated short called I Pet Goat 2. You see, even in the name of this animated short, they try to get the world to acknowledge that you pet the goat too. The date, December 17th, has even more significance. Not only is it the Pope's birthday and the day before Argentina won the World Cup, December 17th is also Saturnalia, the ancient Roman festival and holiday held in honor of the god Saturn or Satan. The festivities run from December 17th through December 23rd in order to coincide with the winter solstice in the celebration of Mithra or Sol Invictus, the birth of the unconquerable sun on December 25th. Remember earlier I showed you the flag for Argentina, which had Sol Invictus on it. Saturnalia was celebrated with a sacrifice at the temple of Saturn in the Roman Forum. Interestingly enough, during the celebrations in Argentina at the Egyptian obelisk, several people fell to their deaths. An Argentinian fan died after falling from a roof in Buenos Aires, while a 5-year-old boy is reportedly in a coma following the celebrations. Also, in a city in India, a 17-year-old also died in the chaos that erupted after Argentina's penalty win against France. Clearly, these were all satanic human sacrifices for Saturn or Satan during Saturnalia. During the festival of Saturnalia, continual partying and a carnival-like atmosphere that overturned Roman social norms was a defining characteristic of the celebration. Roman men and women had orgies to celebrate Saturnalia, held in honor of the god Saturn. Again, this is why the mystery woman was dancing naked at the base of the obelisk in Argentina. Also, other women went topless as well. During Saturnalia, gambling was permitted, and masters provided table service for their slaves, as it was seen as a time of liberty for both slaves and freed men. Saturnalia's connection to overturning social norms and the themes of rebellion and liberty or freedom is the true reason that Argentina was playing against France. This was done because of France's history, specifically the French Revolution, which was a period of radical political and societal change. Ultimately, the connection to rebellion or revolution and liberty is meant to point to the setting free or releasing of the king of the rebellious fallen angels, the angel of the bottomless pit. Now check this out. After a 3-3 tie through extra time, Argentina won 4-2 in penalty kicks. The number 33 represents the Freemasonic mantra, order out of chaos, and since the celebration of Saturnalia is a chaotic and orgiastic mix of revelry, debauchery, and human sacrifice, this points to the chaos that the New World Order of Antichrist will be born from on this earth through Mystery Babylon. The final score, 4-2, gives us 4 2s, or 22-22, and 22 plus 22 is 44. This points to number 44, Obama, as the sun god that is being worshipped through Argentina's connection to the sun, since his logo is the rising sun, which was developed by a man named Sol Cinder as a reference to Sol Invictus.
This means a sun rising over the horizon, the dawning of a new day in American politics.
Not only that, but Obama is a Nephilim giant, the product of a fallen angel and human woman, the false Madonna and child, Isis and Horus. We saw this before in the orchestrated birth of the Nephilim giant, number 44, through Ahmad Bradshaw's 6-yard touchdown run during Super Bowl 46. This was meant to point to Obama's reading of Psalm 46 when he declared himself to be God.
Be still, and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted in the earth.
The conception of this Nephilim giant was accomplished through the obelisk or Baal shaft, making Obama into the Viking, 6th king or 6th god, the son of Saturn or Satan. He is Buenos Aires, the prince of the power of the air. He is the Antichrist. It is important to note that Saturnalia was seen as a restoration of the ancient Golden Age when the world was ruled by Saturn. This actually points to the antediluvian world before the flood, when the Nephilim giants ruled. This is the reason that the trophy for the World Cup is a golden ball, as it is meant to represent the Golden Age, the antediluvian world before the flood. Now, let's take a look at the star of the show, Lionel Messi. The name Lionel is lion plus L. We know that Yehoshua is the lion of the tribe of Judah. However, the devil takes the form of a lion in 1 Peter 5:8, which declares, "Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. Therefore, the drunken revelry and debauchery of Mystery Babylon ensures that the people will not be sober and therefore will be easily devoured by the lion, who is the devil and Satan. It is important to note that Barack Obama connected himself with the Lion King through his so-called birth video.
Tonight, for the first time, I am releasing my official birth video. No one has seen this footage in 50 years. Not even me. But let's take a look.
We know that the Lion King is the lying king, the king of the bottomless pit, the father of lies. The name El is a Northwest Semitic word for God or deity, and it was the name of the god of the ancient Canaanite religion, Baal, whose consort was Asherah, the queen of heaven. The name Messi is short for Messiah. Clearly, this is a reference to the false Messiah who is born as the product of Baal Shaft and Asherah, the queen of heaven, who is also Isis or Ishtar, the virgin whore of Babylon, who gives birth to the sun god Horus or Sol Invictus. During the presentation of the Golden Globe, Messi was adorned with a black robe. Black robes were worn by the pagan priests of Saturn in the ancient Babylonian religion. The purpose of this entire ritual was to expose the world to Mystery Babylon, the mother of harlots, naked and laid bare before your very eyes. The world is bearing witness to the modernization of the ancient antediluvian worship celebrations for the pagan false gods, for Sol Invictus, the sun god, and the queen of heaven, for Saturn, who is Satan, for Baal and Mithras, for the rebellious fallen angels, the Nephilim giants, and their coming false Messiah, the Antichrist. If you have not given your life to the Most High by accepting the blood sacrifice of the Paschal Lamb, Yehoshua HaMashiach, which was shed on the cross as a propitiation for the redemption of sins, the time to do so is now. Amen. Shalom.
Mark my words.